Welcome to America's Home Cooking. I've just about, I finished my coffee and that's it. Set your oven for 350. Make sure your shelf is in the middle. Now we're making this venison meat that I told you about. So you're going to be watching it. I'm going to be using whole grain bread and other stuff in mine. And I'm going to season it with rosemary. I think the venison and rosemary will go very well together. And don't ask me which bread this is because I cannot remember. I wish my son would learn to cut straight. See, that always cuts like that. I don't know why. My younger son always cuts at this stupid angle. But I try to straighten it out, and knowing him, he's going to bend it back where it was. So I'll cut these a little thicker because it's 2 slices we need. I'm using 2 pounds of venison and 1 pound of ground pork. So this is going to be different from other stuff that I made. I already told a lot of people that I was going to be doing this. They're probably getting their breakfast and stuff together, and I understand that. We're also going to be using a culture in this, I think I want to do, and I need a mixing bowl for this. Okay, so we're going to break this up. This is why I use more seasonings, is because my food is very rich already, because I add so much to it. Now, the reason for those of you that do not cook or have no idea why you put bread into your meatloaf, it's to hold the moisture to keep it from drying out. So I'm going to use milk and culture together. I'm going to use my discard because I have a lot of it and it's growing. And I said, you can't grow much more. I'm not going to be able to do this. So this is what we're making today. Then I'm going to make mashed yams with it. And if I have any left over, tomorrow I'm thinking about making yam biscuits. And we'll see. I've already made them once. They're really good. You'd have to try them. So you know, with the bread and stuff, I'm going to have good flavor here, and we're going to get it going. And putting the discard in it is going to make it even more nutritious. And then we'll chop up stuff, but definitely rosemary is going in this one. I just think the rosemary and venison are going to be great together, you know. Of course, my plant's asleep right now, so I'm going to have to use dry rosemary. But that's all right. It's a nice big plant in my yard, which I like. It smells so good when you walk past it. Okay. Most people would say, you can't do this. Yeah, well, women did this all the time before, so why not now? You know, that's my whole thing. Okay, that's about 1/3 of a cup of discard culture that I made. And we'll thin it out some with the milk to half a cup. Stir it around, and we'll add it to the breadcrumbs. So this will give it more nutrition, which we're looking for. We're always looking, in my kitchen, we're always looking to make the food more nutritious, to keep illness and sickness away, and to keep the family as, you know, as healthy as they can be. And when they're healthy and they're not sick and stuff, a home is happy, believe it or not. So I know this is going to stick to the bread. Then we'll start putting everything into this and chopping everything up. This is a very easy recipe. It's just that, oh, if you want to get wild game, Sayer Brook sells venison if that's what you're looking for. And good morning again. All right. Did I get measuring spoons out? Of course not, Sandra. Use the ones that are in the drying. That sounds like me too. All right, let's see. For salt, let's see. Venison, all right. 1.5 teaspoons. I have to think about this. We're making a venison meatloaf. And I'm using 1 pound of pork with it. So this is 1.5 teaspoons salt. Let's see. 4 tablespoons of wheat germ in this, because we're going to keep it nutritious all the way around. We don't want to undo it. Yeah, I'll get it together. I'm working on it. Hey, listen, it's only 5 o'clock. I've only been up for 1 hour, all right? 4 tablespoons of wheat germ. I love it when you guys do things like that. Get yourself together. Yeah, I got to pull myself together. All right, we're done with these. That's so typical of me. Okay, we're going to need an egg. By the way, those omelets yesterday were delicious. Just letting you know. I told you what I was making. All right, we need 1 big onion chop. I don't need this much. That's why I didn't get it out. Get yourself together, Sandra. Do-do-do-do-do-do. You put other stuff in it if you want, but I want the rosemary and the venison to stand out in this. We're making, like I said, a venison rosemary meatloaf. It'll be different, and I'm going to serve it with mashed yams today. And if we have any left over, if you're tuning in tomorrow morning, we'll make yam biscuits. I wonder if I can make a sourdough again tonight, starting tonight. I'm thinking. I don't know if I can, but we'll see. If I can't, well, we'll just do it the other way. But knowing me, I'm going to try. I don't know if it'll come out, but we'll try. Gee. So you hear my mind going, but I do want to make pumpkin brownies. I have canned pumpkin. I canned a whole bunch of it, you know. I think I made pumpkin muffins. I'm not sure. Might try making pumpkin biscuits, knowing me. You know, women had to be creative then. Now, a lot of these recipes are really lost because they didn't write them down. So it's like we're reinventing recipes that women did, but they didn't write them down at the time. Remember, women didn't know how to write or do math unless they were of the upper class. A lot of women didn't. The men took care of all that. So they had to memorize. They memorized a lot. But now with the education and stuff, we can write things down. Now I happen to like garlic with rosemary, so I'm going to go a little heavy on my fresh garlic. Oh, I'm getting all emotional over these new onions. I slept through the New Year. I don't like the holiday New Year. Yeah. This bread that I put in here is sourdough. I took buckwheat flour, flaxseed ground, and white flour, and I made a loaf of bread. I don't even know how it tastes. I said, what the heck, let's try it. And I made it sourdough. We'll be having it soon when I finish up one loaf. But right now I've got the biscuits. Still have the bread that we have to finish to get to that bread. And I still have a slice of the molasses bread I made. And for those of you, please, if you double that recipe like I did, put it in a bigger pan than in an 8x5 because mine overflowed, but the flavor's there. It's really good. I don't know if a 1.5 pound loaf pan will do it. Might need a 9x6. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to play around with it in that. I can't help you with that. I mean, that was, I wasn't going to make a dinky loaf. I'm sorry. My family would look at me and say, what is this, hope? My family is big eaters. Parsley, about this much. That's how I do it, just by the hand. I couldn't tell you. I love when they sit there and say, especially when you have a male chef, he says a handful. Have you ever seen how big their hands are? So when they say a handful, I sit there and look and say, right, my hand, that's 2 handfuls. You can't see everything. I'm sorry. I've got everything here. I really thank all of you. I'm almost up to 7,000 people that watch my channel. I want to thank all of you for your time to sit and watch. And I hope, you try some of these recipes and let me know what you think of them. Because I would love to see. I don't know how you could show me the dishes. I used to have a Facebook page called America's Home Cooking where you could post it. But everybody wanted to know how did I do it and everything else. And so with my son's help, he helped me set up the channel here so you could see. Okay, about that much parsley. I'm sorry, I can't do any better. We're all doing very well. They're faster than I am. I'm slow. Of course, I don't have to be fast anymore, which is nice. I don't have to race in, feed my family and everything. Boy, could I whip all this stuff out. I used to be fast, but I said, no, I'm tired of that. I'm not racing. I noticed one thing. The chefs on the cooking channel now are teaching you to cook fast because women are working. They say, I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I can understand their point, but I'm not. I have time. I have a lot of time, I clean and I take my time. My days are busy. Yes, they're very busy. Let's see how much garlic I want to put in here. If you smash them before you take them out of the peelings, they're easier to peel. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just count and you'll know how many I'm putting in. 5. This is 6. You know what you have to do is nip it at the top, and you got it. See how much easier that is? Good. Enjoy the recipes. Thank you, Mickey. I know a lot of people sit there say, I'm in retirement. Just cut the top off right there. That's all you have to do. Then you're ready to do your garlic. Oh, shoot. So mine's going to have the flavor of garlic. 3/6. You're saying that's a lot of garlic. I know. Well, I'm Italian. What can I say? I happen to like garlic. Now, when I grew up in Texas, because World War II was over not long after I was born, growing up in Texas, my mother could not say she was Italian. And she couldn't cook Italian because he held a grudge at that time. Because they stayed with, they were dealing with Germany, and Germany and Italy stood together, so there was a problem in Texas. I don't think it is anymore, but at the time it was. So my mother couldn't cook Italian. And my father being a picky eater, oh my God. His favorite dessert was oatmeal cookies with raisins. And what pie did he like? What pie did he like? I think it was a lemon meringue. His breakfast was 2 pieces of bacon, 2 eggs fried in bacon grease, a piece of toast, and coffee. His favorite and only vegetable he would eat was asparagus. And he liked to have at least 4 times a week steak and potatoes. He liked his coffee with 2 sugars and half and half. He liked to get up at 3:30 in the morning, sit and get the paper and read before he got my mother up at 4. He was out of the house by 5:30, and we were up shortly afterwards. Get ready for school. Of course, with us, we got muffins and we got all kinds of different foods, but my father was very particular. When he came in, he wanted that dinner. He'd come in at 5:30. By 6 o'clock, we had dinner. By 8 o'clock, we were in bed. My father was very, very regimental. Okay, we got that in there. I know it's extra garlic, but like I said, I like rosemary and garlic, and I think it'll go good with this. Now we'll get our pepper together. How much pepper? Well, how much pepper do you want? According to your taste, I'm sorry. I always add more. Most people say 1/4 of a teaspoon or something like this. I'll tell you how much in a minute I put in. What you hear the banging is I'm cracking the peppercorns. You posted? Okay, I am putting in approximately a little over 2½ teaspoons. You could almost say a tablespoon, but not quite. Okay, I like pepper, so what can I say? Rosemary, well, we've got 3 pounds of meat we have to get through, so there's going to be a lot. And I think I wished you Merry Christmas, Mickey. I'll probably put in a good tablespoon. This cracks the rosemary up so the flavor comes out more. If you have fresh, I would strongly recommend chopping it. I might add more rosemary as I mix this up, and if I can't smell the rosemary, I'll grind more up and put it in. This is how I work. Because remember, I have a lot of flavors going in here because I use other things that are nutritious. Okay. All right, so we cracked up a little more than a tablespoon, and we will see if that's enough. If that's not enough, we just keep on going. I think I've added everything. Everybody says put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That doesn't work for me. I want to taste that flavor that comes out in that food to bring it forward. Where's my meat? Yeah, Sayre Brook Bison Ranch is where I get my venison from. They also sell, what else? Elk and other ones. Now you'll notice when you see the venison how dark it is. This is because it is wild game. And you can see it's browned up for me already. See how dark it is? This is very, very lean. There. See? You can see it, see? It's really, really just that lean. And they even add 3% fat in it. And it's still lean. Now the reason they put 3% pork in it is to help bind it, you know, give it that moisture so it's not dry and tough. Because if you've ever been close up to a deer, they don't have much fat on them. Oh, you are not defrosted? You've had over 24 hours. Okay, I'll put you in the microwave and fix you. Get off that paper. All right, this piece is not defrosted, but I will defrost it. I know how to do it. And a pound of pork. Even if you go to make hamburgers with venison, I would strongly recommend that you mix it with pork to make sure that it doesn't get overcooked. And believe you me, you know I'm going to do that. So think if you're going to use venison, you're going to have to add some pork to it. Oh, you're not for... That's interesting. I took this out yesterday. All right, we'll get a plate and get it in the microwave, and we will defrost it as fast as we can without cooking it. Can I do that? But of course I can. I've done it more than once. You ought to see me with a chicken. It takes 2 days to defrost them in the house. I got it from Sayre Brook and Elk Ranch. SAYERSBROOK. Then Bison, BISON, Ranch. You can Google it, and it'll be right there. Okay, now I have to defrost this in a hurry. Tricks of the trade. I am going to be running back and forth because I'm doing them at 30-second intervals. So I can sit there and peel off what's defrosted and put the rest in. That way I'm hoping that I don't cook it. So we have a little bit of weight to get that going. Yeah. Hi again, and good morning. how I do it. Listen, you have to sometimes do things you don't want to do. I'd rather it defrost naturally. And as I take it off as it defrosts, we hit more frozen, and then we give it another 30 seconds. Just do it at 30-second intervals. Clean off what's already defrosted, and that way it won't cook. I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I do have a problem with ground meat that it does not defrost. Chicken, I would take it out 2 days ahead of time in the winter because I have a cool kitchen. Boy, if it was a hot kitchen when I came in here and I cooked, I would be dying in this kitchen. You're going to need a pan, greased. I'm not using the broiler pan. I'm using a baking dish to put it in. Okay. See? That's how you can do it. I'll get these glasses off because I don't need it now. Sandra, you and your cookbooks are going to be a mess by the time you get done with them. Nobody will want them. That's all right. That's me. My glasses over here. Now we'll get this mixed. Smell it for rosemary and garlic. If you don't get the smell that you want, add more in. Now, you know 3 ounces is 25 grams of protein, and you put 2 pounds in it. Just do the calculations. You can see how much protein is in this. But I think really mashed yams would be very nice with this. And I might make a blue cheese dressing today. For those of you who have husbands and friends and their friends come together to watch the Super Bowl, different kinds of deviled eggs would be really nice for your family as well at that time. Ooh, that smells really good. I can smell it. Yeah, I could have put Worcestershire sauce in it, but I don't want Worcestershire sauce in this. Make sure you get the venison mixed with that pork, because if you don't, you're going to find out that you'll have parts of your meatloaf that are dry, and that's not what you want. That's what I'm doing right now, making sure it's well mixed. And for you ladies who have a husband who is a hunter, I'm going to call you a lucky dog. I have to buy it. What you have to do is have your husband hunt. And he comes in with the whole thing of what you couldn't do with it. The roast and everything. Okay. Smells very good with the garlic and rosemary in it. I got enough in there for me. So now I'm going to get it ready. And get it set. Now you can do it freehand if you want, but mine cracks at that, so I am going to do it the only way I know that keeps it together is pack it tight with wax paper into a 9x5, or known as a 1.5 pound loaf pan. Get the wax paper out, Sandra. Old people know exactly what I'm doing. This is how we did it. Good night. Like I told you, my family's got a crazy schedule. Make sure you have the sides up. They're not going to go all the way up, but you want them to go up. Now you're going to start packing this. Pack it into these corners, because if you don't, you won't have the shape that you're looking for. And press it in tight. If you don't pack it in tight, when you take it out, it falls apart. You don't want it to fall apart. Sometimes all your work, it doesn't always work, but you do work at it. Now, you can put meat on it, or you don't have, bacon on top of it if you wish. I'm not putting bacon on top of it this time. I don't know what I'm going to put on top of it yet. I'm still thinking about it. If you put ketchup on it, don't put it on until the last 20 minutes. If you're putting a sauce on it, don't put it on until the last 20 minutes of baking. And how do you know the last 20 minutes? Because you're coming close to the temperature. I think the temperature's got to be 185, if I remember correctly. Another thing that would go nice with this, if you want to make regular mashed potatoes, add 2 tablespoons of truffle oil into it, and you will have truffle mashed potatoes. And listen, those are delicious. They're a sin to eat. Some things are so good, they're a sin that they even created them. You know, it's just like that with me. I'm always like that. It's really that good. I say, oh God, this is a sin. This is a sin, really a sin. Another cookie that I like are rugellas with cinnamon and nuts in them. And I call them, when they first came out, they were good. Now they're making them cheaper. When they first came out, I said, oh, these are sinful. I can't. My husband bought 2 packages and he gave me one. The rest of the family could eat the other, but that was mine. I love those. Very bad habit. So I said, don't buy them often, Tony. I'll be as big as a barn door. But then they started changing them, and I don't like them anymore. But I used to love the original recipe, but they've changed it around so much. It's wise if you grease the pan. It's easier to clean. Okay? You want to flip it. There's only one way to do it. Isn't that easy? Women my age know how to do this. We always learned how to do this. That's how you do it. Get a perfect meatloaf. Now I'm going to put this in the oven and it's going to cook for about an hour. What am I putting on top of it? I have no idea. Don't ask me. I really don't know. But if you want, you could put bacon on it. If you're going to put ketchup or sauce, remember, put it on the last 20 minutes. Bacon, you can put it on now because it can cook. Okay, so let me get it in the oven. And the recipe says cook at a moderate oven, which is 350 degrees. I'm going to have to teach you those terms so you'll know, so you can use the old cookbooks. For those of you that love the old cookbooks, I have the old and the new and everything in between. Haki. I am making a venison meatloaf. Venison is deer meat. Okay, so listen, I'm going to let you all go because this is going to take 1 whole hour, maybe a little longer. So that'll be a little after 7 o'clock. And I've got mashed yams. You know, I wonder if I could use truffle oil in the yams. I'm thinking, my family always says it's dangerous when I start going there. Okay, so listen. You're very welcome. So listen, enjoy your day. I'm still thinking of truffle yams. It would be unusual. What do you think? I'm going to give you a few minutes. What do you think of making truffle mashed yams? Instead of using it in mashed potatoes, use it in mashed yams. I'm going to let you give your opinion. You've got 2 minutes. So hurry up and type. What do you think of that? And I'll put my rosemary up. So I'll give you a chance to answer and let me know. Okay, I got 1 yes. Are there any no's in the group? Come on, dish them out. We're gonna wait 2 minutes, then I'm gonna say bye because I've got to get those going. And I've got things I've got to clean my mess up for the next dish. I just think it would be good. Why not try it? Yeah. Okay, I got 1 yes. Okay, the yeses are beating the no's. I think everybody's agreeing with me. I think it'd be good. This is all I have left of truffle oil, so as you can see, I am not concerned about that right now. We're asking a question. You guys are not answering. Only one did, and that was well, anyway, he answered. Corn what? Yes, I cook with corn, and I can corn. Cream corn is nice, but today I want to get the yams. It's either plain mashed yams or truffle yams. Now, if I make truffle yams and I make biscuits, it's going to be, when you think about this, if I put the truffle into the mashed yams that I have left over, that's it, my family doesn't eat it all. If I make yam biscuits tomorrow, they're going to have a truffle taste to them, like a mushroom. So that would be interesting. Yeah, we got 2 yeses so far. Listen, you guys, the no's aren't winning out, so I guess that means a yes for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do a little bit of yams on the side after I mash them and just put the truffle to see how they taste together, and I'll let you know if they come out and I have any left over. My family doesn't eat it. I'm going to try making truffle yam mashed potatoes. I mean biscuits. See where my mind goes? I'm not going to use tons of this. It's according to, just to get the hint of the truffle through it. And if you don't like mushrooms, you won't like truffle. I do. Okay, so okay, I'm going to let you guys go, and ladies and gentlemen, I should say, instead of guys. That's how we used to say it for everybody. We used to say guys. That just meant everybody, male and female. That was the hippie time. But for ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close up. I'm going to go see if we can do that. And if we cannot have any left, I'm going to try making biscuits with it. Okay, that's all right. Not everybody likes mushrooms. Why? Kathy E. Weller? Oh, you want to see me do it? Well, it'll be a very long video. Okay, let's get the yams and see what we can do. We're going to play around. If it doesn't work well, I always have rolls and bread to fall back on. All right. So we'll peel these mothers. Gonna cut up into chunks and see what we can do with it. This is almost like winging it. I have too many stalks. I'm gonna put these out. Mm-hmm. 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 See, I don't like wasting. I have to waste the peelings. I got enough stalks. I've got so many stalks in my freezer and stuff. I've got to take care of my stalks again. And I'm backed up on my stalks. I got so many in the house. If it was summer, I could bury this into the garden and into the yard, and then I wouldn't have anything wasted. Mm-hmm. So, if I make a blue cheese dressing, I just think a blue cheese dressing would, as you can see, I want everything to have great flavor. This is very important to me and to my family. That's how I get them to eat. If the food is bland, they'll get to the point where it means nothing to them. Set a table nice, everybody wants to eat, and I just threw that on the floor. This is a big one. I might as well see what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to look at you. You see, I am peeling. I normally would use these peelings, wash them and stick them in a bag after I peel. But when you have like over 20 bottles of stock in their quart jars, you have more than enough. I have bones I have to cook down as it is. See, I don't like to do the same thing twice for you guys, the same recipe. So sometimes when I'm having the same recipe, because there's a lot of recipes I have given you out. All right, come on. Okay. All right. So this is last year's yams. I can see that. They're not fresh as they should be. Now you do yams just like you do mashed potatoes. After they're boiled and you strain them, you sit there and you put them back into the pan with a flame and let them dry out, so when you add the butter and stuff, they're not so moist. So the butter and the cream and stuff that you put in it will give it, I didn't think I was going to get there. be full flavor. You won't have that watery texture that you want. So I'm going to cut these in big chunks. Let me get a pot and put them in. Now when you do fill it with water after you rinse these, you only put it 1 inch above them. You don't have to go any higher than that. A lot of people will fill it way high. You don't have to. You're just wasting water and a lot of energy. So only put the water 1 inch above after you rinse them. See, I only have them 1 inch above that. We'll get that turned on, clean this mess up, move forward. You're gonna need butter and heavy cream, salt and pepper. If you want to be different, which I might do this, I might add some green peppercorns with the black ones because they're a little hotter, which will give some spice to this whole dish. Hey, I'll go there. I won't put too many in because if I use the truffle oil, I don't want to overheat the truffle and the potatoes. I should call them yams, but I'm going to treat them like potatoes. They don't take long. But that's a trick. Your imagination can work. If you have basic recipes, you can enhance them, you can make them better, you can change them a bit. At first you might make mistakes. Learn your smells of your seasonings, and as you cook, smell it. No, I did not grow it. No, I did not. But the way the gopher, and the raccoon, and the birds, I have to buy everything at the store. They eat everything in the yard. Now the crows are flying around because I had corn last year. So whenever I plant something, I know I'm not going to get it. But it's fun. And nothing else. My hard work, and they get all the enjoyment of the food from my hard work. Now they do leave me the blueberries. I do get the blueberries. They love my strawberries. I try to eat my raspberries, but the insects like them. I said, dang, are you going to leave me anything that I can eat that I grew? Well, I know that we've taken so much land and stuff away from them, so they eat. They're hungry in their life. So, you know, I expect it. I'm not going to kill them for it. If they're hurt, I'll do what I can to save them. But if I can't, you know. Like my father said, but you eat them, Sandy. And I said, but Daddy, they look at me. I can see their soul in there. They're gentle and kind. He said, but you got to eat. And then when he killed my rooster, he says, will you eat your rooster? And I said, yes, Daddy, the soul's not there anymore. Understand what I was saying, but I saw the soul and I can't kill it, you know? I even used to tell the roaches, when we were in an apartment building, because New York City is notorious for roaches, I told them, you can live, but not in this apartment. You live here, you die. And they could get angry with me all they wanted, you know. I said, you can go to God. I told you, you can have the whole apartment building, but you stay out of my apartment. You understand me? Where I'm living, stay out. I said, you come in, you're dead. That's what I told them. People say, that's stupid. And I said, no. They know. I killed like 5 or 6. I leave them on the wall. Then the other ones can see them. I say, come in here. That's going to happen to you. They got the message. They left me alone. I always had clean apartments. Because their life as well. But I didn't torture them either. When I killed them, I took a shoe and I smashed them so fast. Boom! They were dead instantaneously. I didn't want them to suffer. And poison would cause them to suffer and everything else. But I had to hit a mutual agreement. Some of you ask questions you have no right to ask. You should be more respectful. Oh, that meatloaf smells good. I can smell it. We'll get these going. Now listen, I have to feed my yeast, so I'll have to get that together. You're actually watching what I do today. It's going to be a long video. You got to see everything I do. Besides, if it's young people, you should be getting ready for school. But anyway, we'll see how that meatloaf goes. I cannot wait to try it. All right. This is my liquid culture. It's thinner than my sponge culture. I used the sponge culture earlier. You can see that it moves easier. The ratio is just a little different with it. Sponge is different, but the liquid culture, I gotta get my scale at 0. Give me a minute. No, come on. Put in 1 for this is for the liquid culture, so you get the ratios down. You have to add 1.5 ounces, 1.5 ounces of bread flour. This eats it, and this is what I feed it every day. Okay? You'll actually see the ratios this time, because I usually don't show you, I just tell you real quick. All right, you put that in, get cold water. Now you need 2 ounces of water. So put 2 ounces of water in it, cold water. That's what you feed your liquid culture every day. And you have to mix this up thoroughly for it. And I keep them in my quart jars. When my quart jars get these quart jars get full, that's my discard. I put it in another jar. Those are my discards. I add them to biscuits and everything else and use it. Yes, you can. It's called sourdough culture. Yes, I am. I'm feeding my cultures. We've got a venison meatloaf on, and we're thinking about making truffle yams, mashed yams. Yes, you need, I think the ratio, don't hold me this, in the springtime, you have over 400 microbes floating in the air all the time. In the spring, they really get active. That's why I like to do my yeast at that time. Creating it, and it's called a sourdough. There's different ones. I'm trying to make my own yeast right now. as well as the sourdough cultures I have. What you do is you have to use bread flour and water. All right, do not use hot water. Use the water that comes out of the tap. All right, you put 1.5 cups of water to 2 cups of bread flour. Beat it like crazy in a bowl. Put it next to a window. If you put it outside, if you want to put it outside in the spring or the summer, make sure you put cheesecloth over it and tie it down to make sure insects can't get into it. Now, you're going to beat this every day until you see it swell. It'll start to swell up. You'll actually see it. It starts to grow. There is the beginning of your sourdough culture. You can take it out of the bowl then, and you put it in a jar, and you sit there and you feed it the sponge culture, which we'll get to in a minute, because you make your liquid culture from the sponge culture. I have to beat this first. Here's my sponge culture. As you can see, it moves much slower. It doesn't come out as easy. It's much slower and it's much thicker. So what you do after you get your culture started, you see it's swelling, you put it in a jar. Every day you feed it 2 tablespoons of bread flour and 1.5 tablespoons of cold water and beat it in. And that's all. That's how it's done. But remember, they say it takes 5 days. Mine took 15. So if it takes a little longer than their time frame, as long as it doesn't go sour, but you see it growing and it doesn't smell rancid, you're fine. But if it has a sour taste, a smell to it, you've got it. But if it's a rancid smell, do not, and you'll know the difference, believe you me. So I have very little in here. So that's why. Now, when you get your culture going, you can take part of your sourdough culture and you want to make a liquid culture. Now, what you do with that is you take part of your sourdough, put some in another jar, and what you do is give it 1.5 ounces of bread flour to 2 ounces of water, so you can see how they balance each other differently. So that's how it's done. Right now, I'm trying to make yeast, just like what you would get in the store, except that mine is going to be different. So I won't have to buy any yeast at the store. And when I use corn, I use a different flour, and I have to treat it differently. It sits in the dark in a jar. Sourdough culture, they tell you use the packet of yeast and sit there and add stuff to it, and it's not real. The real sourdough is literally the one that is bread flour and water. No, I am not cutting it with baking soda, and don't lie about it and don't assume. No. Period. I do not use that. That is a cheap version, like what they use when you buy the bread. They also add vinegar to it to give it that tart taste, and you think you're getting sourdough and you really aren't. Sourdough is much different. Okay. Good night to the one ETJ. I made one loaf of trying the one where they add the baking soda and stuff, and I didn't like it. Version of Ready Rock, huh? Oh, Germany. Hi. we have to wait. Everything's at a waiting point. The bread? Yeah, I already have one. We haven't finished up the spread. I made a double ham spread, not the one from the little jar. They charge $6 for 2 little cans. Nah, it ain't gonna work for me. I'll buy the ham butt and do it myself. So let's see what else. We need butter. I need to put these biscuits up. My God, these biscuits are so light. I cannot believe them. Got you there. Yeah, you can see I'm pretty busy. I don't know what some of you are talking about. I'm sorry. You're talking a language. I know I speak English, but I don't know what you guys speak. I can tell that you're young when you use certain terminologies. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, Rhonda. They don't make any sense and they think they're being cool. I remember when they used to say, cool, man. You know. And they never explained anything. And so did, And then this was a response that came, and you know what I'm talking about. And I want to say, no, I don't know what you're talking about because all I know is whatever you know. And I don't know what you're talking about because you're not explaining yourself. Then say it's nice. Speak English, then I understand. Oh, I wish you guys, if there was a way to put smell through this phone so you could smell that meatloaf. It really smells good. I'm not going to lie, it really smells good. And today I have to go to the butcher because I want to buy duck breast and I want to buy cube steaks. What else did I say I wanted? Oh, liver. My sons are asking for the bacon and beef liver dish that I make over spaghetti. By the way, don't knock it. It's delicious. And I was one who didn't like liver until I had this dish. So I was on your side of the fence for a long time. Of course, in Texas, everybody, when I was growing up, cooked liver, and you could have worn it for the shoes. As shoes, it was that tough. They overcooked it. You've got to cook that liver and keep it tender, but get it done. We call it whatever. Now, this whole channel is to teach you to eat healthy, protect your health. If you can make it my age and look good, then I think you're doing great. Okay, they're boiling. We're going to wait for them to get tender, which takes about 5 minutes. And then we'll see what we can do with them. I'll show you how you do it. Always remember, people do things to their taste, but a lot of women, and I can say this, I've seen it, they didn't learn from their mothers. Their mothers didn't teach them to cook because she's too busy making money. And saying how tired she is, when she should be home caring for them. I understand that sometimes there is a divorce, but I remember when it was a massive set of divorces. That's why people quit marrying and live together, because they didn't want the divorce and the hassle of breakup. And that's a real fear. And men today don't know how to be men. The older men know. Women run through the door when a guy goes through it. She runs real quick through it before the door closes and says, "Thank you." Well, they're not nice to the men, so why should men open the door for them, you know? Why should they be respectful? I remember when all that changed. Women sitting there saying, "I can do what a man can do." I just watched a video with one of my sons. 2 police officers are trying to handcuff this man. He's beating the crap out of them. He's throwing them like they were rag dolls. Undercover comes, and one man, and he puts him down. He barely flips him, and he's down, but the 2 women couldn't do it. He was dragging them all over the place. It tells you that some things women can't do. They have to admit to it. Yeah, you keep going. You keep on going. In life, now when you really think about life and the way it is, there is no retirement in life. I've seen men when I go shopping. I have seen, this is married couples, and it makes me a little uncomfortable with her, not with him. But he looks at my cart. You see fruits and vegetables, and you see meat. And you might find 1 or 2 canned things in there after I've gone through a whole section of stuff. And you'll see the oils that I buy to make my own oil blend that's nutritious and everything else. When those men look at me and at my cart, his wife sees it, she gives me a dirty look, and then she hits him. She'll let him know, "Don't you dare." That tells me, men, you want your wives home. You want them to be cooking for you and caring for you. And in her cart, she has frozen dinners, canned food, and everything else. And he's looking at her, at me, because that's how he wants to eat. He wants real food. And you can see he's not in the best of health. And they look old and haggard. And they're my age. Like I told you, everybody in my family has, my side of the family has arthritis. I haven't shrunk. I don't have arthritis. Not on medication. My brother says he's had 1 arm, shoulder done. He's got another one. He's done both his hips. And my other brother looks like, well, he was, let's say he looks a lot older than what he is. And that's my younger brother. You know, and I sit there and my mother, how she went, and with arthritis, her whole hip broke and everything else. So I worry. Well, I don't really worry that much, but I see these women getting abortions. I hear of them drinking sodas, taking drugs and all. And I know before the time they're 30, they're going to look like an old crow who belongs in the grave. Or they're going to have children with medical issues up here, and she's going to end up with severe arthritis. Her teeth are going to rot. Oh, no. I do not exercise. That's one thing I hate to do. Thank you, Jay. And so I know the younger generations, and as they eat more instant food, and these influencers and these other cooks use a lot of instant things, all what I see is more generations of sick children. I could easily see this country being taken over and Americans enslaved. And that's a horrible thing to say. I don't want it to happen, but they're so weak. We're depending upon bombs and atomic bombs and all. When it comes down to it, it's fighting hand-to-hand combat. And if we're sick and everything else like that, we're not going to be able to do our job. We're not going to be able to defend. And another thing you might not know is if a lot of boys are born, you can bet we're going to be at war in 18 years. That always happens. Always. They've seen through history that if you get a country has a swarm of boys growing during a certain time frame, you know in 18 years from that we're going to be at war. Yes, I do. I do have breakfast. I just don't show you. That's all because I have to get dinner going because my family's crazy. I had an egg omelet yesterday and I put a salsa over it and I ate my prosciutto bread with it and we had grapefruit with it. It was a mild lunch, but it was very refreshing. What kind of omelet do you like? It's Miss Rhonda. Yeah, it was. It was very, very nice. But I usually, if you watch the videos and I step away, I'm usually having a muffin or something or a glass of milk on the side, maybe buttermilk or yogurt or something I'm eating, and that's what I do. I really run because I have to get up and I've got a time limit I have to cook in to make sure I get that whole dinner out so they can be packed. So my breakfast is, if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. Sometimes I just eat fruit. The other day I just ate a whole bunch of grapes. I really wanted the grapes. So I had grapes for breakfast, but I don't eat supper. I'm not a supper person. I go to bed on an empty stomach, so when I wake, so I don't end up with the indigestion. Yeah, that's good. That sounds very good. Egg and cheese with buttermilk biscuits is very good. Sure, I could do a breakfast. All right, I will. Sometimes you just, but remember, the biggest meal I eat is lunch. I get up at 4, so 6 hours later, calculate around 10 or 11, I'm having lunch, and I'll take it easy till about 12, and I'm not going to eat for the rest of the day. So when I go to bed, my stomach is thoroughly empty. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't have that bloatedness. I don't have that bad breath that you're talking about and all this other stuff that happens. That's because the food has gone rancid in your stomach because you went to sleep. You have to wait 5 hours after you eat just to get the food out of your stomach. Then it's got to go through 26 plus intestines before it comes out. So you have to think about that. So when I get up in the morning, I am hungry. Sometimes I'm not. So I don't eat. And then there are times when I sit, but I will have lunch anywhere from 10 to 12 noon because I've already been up 6 hours working and cooking and everything. And I don't eat until I'm stuffed. I only eat. Well, yesterday I did. I have to admit, the other day I gluttoned out. I shouldn't have. My stomach let me know all day and the next morning because I ate too much food. But normally I just eat until I'm content and then I pull away from the table and that's it. Now, if you don't do a lot of walking, you don't do a lot of work or stuff, you're going to eat a lot less than somebody who is out there like a man doing construction and stuff. He's going to need more food, but he should be eating an extremely large breakfast and he should be eating an extremely large lunch. So when he comes in, he shouldn't be hungry. A lot of you are writing. Oh, God. Thank you, Kathy Wheeler. I think I said that right. There they go again. Never mind. Let me get a paring knife and we'll check these yams. Now you can use the yam water from this and cook with it in stocks and stuff. You can use it in breads if you wish, because it's a starch. Yeah, I'm going to get them out now. Well, that's not going to fit. Turn your flame down. Now you're going to put these back into the pot after you strain them and dry them out. So you won't have that extra fluid in your mashed potatoes or your yams, whatever you're going to do. It will leave a film. Save this and you can cook with it. Hear that sizzling? Let me get you over here. I'm drying them out. It'll leave a film on the bottom of the pot. Toss it around. No, I'm not going to have enough. There's no way. What this does is it's drying it out. And you'll see that they're breaking down right away. See how they're breaking down? I'm just stirring them around at this point just to dry them out. I need heavy cream, I think. No. Okay, when you see a film on the bottom, and you can't miss it, yams are not giving me a film. So that means these are very moist potatoes. Okay, you turn it off. Now you can rice them if you wish. I'm not going to pull out my ricer for this. I am just going to mash them. Start getting the butter and we'll add salt and pepper after. There's so few, I'm going to use my small masher that I usually use for other things. Okay, we'll turn you down. Yeah, I'm not going to have any for the biscuits tomorrow. So we're going to add butter to this. Are you going to mash it with the butter? No. And stir it. This way you're guaranteed to get that butter completely through all of this. So after you mash them, you're going to start adding butter and stirring it. When this butter dissolves, we're going to add another piece of butter. I can't tell you how much. If I was using if I had a whole 5-pound bag of yams, I would be able to be more exacting with you. We'll be checking that meatloaf in a minute. You're actually staying over an hour with me. Oh my God. So by doing it like this, you get that butter through the whole thing. So you'll be tasting it. Get some salt in here. I'm going to use some iodized salt. I'm not going to use my salt mixture on this because I think it'll interfere with the truffles, so I'll use plain salt this time. And when I say plain salt, unless I'm Pacific, it's going to be iodized salt. By the way, one of my sons ate 6 or 7 of those biscuits from this morning. He said those are some of the best ones he's had, so I think that's really, really nice. Oh, there's not a lot of this time, so we won't be doing it. Okay, let's get some salt in here. Yeah, one, I guess you could put some ginger in this, candied ginger, which would be nice. I want to try something different. Okay, I'm going to need a spoon. What I'm doing is actually checking to see if I have enough butter in it. Then we're going to add some more. Stir it around in there. Then we're going to be adding some truffle oil, and we'll see how they come out with truffles. If they don't come out, I'm going to have to pull some rolls out of the freezer. But we'll find out together. I just get these ideas that come into my head and say, why not? Let's try this. Like, I want to make cantaloupe muffins. I canned cantaloupe, and it's like a apple butter. I seasoned it with nutmeg and canned it. I'm thinking about making cantaloupe muffins. Now, most of the time when you see me make a muffin, I will be eating one of those muffins, and that's my breakfast. Okay, so that's how that goes. Now, this smells more like it should be. It's my family, I'm double dipping. Okay, I'm going to try. Either I'm going to ruin this or it's going to work. Please work. Don't mess up. Oh, I added just about a tablespoon because I only have a little here, and we're going to see how this is going to go. It smells nice. Of course, I like the smells of mushrooms, and I do cook with them. I've got some butter that I still have to melt in here. But they're creamy. All right, are you ready? We're either mess this up or this is going to work. Let me get some water, rinse off what I have in my mouth. Oh, I've double dipped. That's nice. I'll be dang. It's not a full pound of yams. I just had 2 big yams left over and I used them. That's nice. Don't put too much in, just about a tablespoon, because you get the sweetness of the yam, and then right behind it you get this mild flavor of the truffle. This is good. I'm going to get a bowl and put it in. It's not a lot. I put about a tablespoon and a half of butter working it in, and I dried the yams out. Salt to taste to your flavor, all right? I would not use my salt mixture in this because I think it would interfere with it. Some recipes I have, I don't do that because I don't want to interfere with the flavor, which I'm very concerned about. But yet other ones, I throw it in, so, you know, I just have different salts. Salts also have different saltiness taste. Some are milder, some aren't. Well, I'm just going to put the truffle and the butter and the salt in it. That's all you need. Now, if you can get fresh truffles, you're better than I can't. Where I live, there's no way I'm going to be able to get it. So let me get this into a bowl. Come on, my arms are getting tired. So if you're very active, you can eat more, but if you're not as active as you were, you have to cut back on your eating if you want to control your weight. But I'm going to tell you right now, the size you are when you have before you have children, you're going up 1 dress size. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when you hit menopause, if you're healthy, your menopause should only be 1 day. It'll just stop, and you're going to go up 1 or 2 dress sizes. So you should not go any larger or that. Now, when you start losing a lot of muscle tone and stuff, That's because you're coming to the end of your life. When I start losing a lot of muscle tone and all, I will know then I am going to be leaving this earth very shortly. But see, I only have a small bowl of this because it's still still. Okay, I guess you want to see the meatloaf. I guess that's what everybody's waiting for is the meatloaf now. You spent the whole hour with it. You got the yams done and that done. Put my salt up. We'll be putting the meatloaf here. To put you here, I'm going to bring the meatloaf out so you don't have to worry. Just want to get you off the knives. Okay. I think it's 185. Somebody took my book that had different kinds of way of cutting meat and stuff up, but they took it and I lost it. That's why I write all over my cookbooks now. So if you want a cookbook, mine are going to be all written up. I'm tired of losing my cookbooks. Because I used never to mark my cookbooks up. And magazines that I got, I had a beautiful collection. If anybody around my age remembers a pineapple cheesecake that was done in, I think, 11-inch, it had a pineapple on the bottom, it had a graham cracker crust, you had to bake it, and you needed a pan of water in it, and then when it cooked so much you had to put sour cream over the top of it. If any of you have that recipe and you would not mind sharing it with me, I would appreciate it very much. I would like to have it, to make that cheesecake again. I've only made it twice in my life. Everybody gives me a cheesecake, but it's not the one I'm looking for. They have all the modern ones where they put this in and that in, but it's not made right. It was one of the first ones that came out. I had the Betty Crocker. Oh, I used to also have it for puff pastry. You know how you have crescent rolls that are puff pastry? I actually had to learn how to make that. You had to sit there and have the butter slightly chilled, and you lay it out, you put butter there, fold it over, roll it out, put more butter, then fold it over, and you had to do all these steps to get it. It's a lot of work. There was another recipe, I had an apple strudel. This big, I mean, it was a really big apple strudel, and it was a big U shape. You had to take a sheet, tack it to your table underneath, and then you would roll this, sprinkle flour all over it. I used to see, there goes another sheet, and my mother would have to roll flour onto this sheet that she tacked to the table, and then she'd roll this dough out, like paper thin. And then she'd have a big pot of stuffing, and then she would sit there and pack it, right? And the only way you could roll this up was then you untacked the sheet that was tacked to your table, and you sat there and used it to roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up. And then you couldn't pick it up because it would tear. You would have to sit there and literally have 2 cookie sheets. My mother had big cookie sheets, not like these little ones we have today. And she would have to roll it onto the cookie sheet. And that thing would cook it. Oh my God, it was so good. We only made it twice. That was in one of my cookbooks too. Another recipe gone. Now, one thing I am not good at, and I can say, is making candy. Though I can make gummy bears now. I know the proper way to make gummy bears, but candy was my grandmother's. I mean, she just looked and made it. She was good. Okay, we're almost there. We got one more minute and we'll check this meatloaf out. But those are some recipes I have lost and never found, and if anybody had them, I would appreciate it so much. Yes, homemade pizza, but we want to make a sourdough crust homemade pizza. That's what we're looking for. So thank you. All right. We have one more minute and then we're going to check it and see if it's at 185. So we're going to bring it out and test it. So today I am going to be out at the butcher's. At least it's warmer and there's not much snow on the ground, so I'll be able to walk there. Well, come on, turn over. I hate it when you have to wait for the clock and it's the last minute, you know what I mean? Yes, I saw your super chat. Thank you. It came up. I didn't know what it was. It was a mic. That's all I knew. But thank you very much, Sean. That's not so. Don't say that. Sometimes I don't understand what's going on, but I did see it. And thank you very much for the super chat. And so that's what it is when these things come up, because I didn't know what they were. I know, but I'd spend more time blocking than anything. So I just bypass it. Say, oh, you're just talking to yourself. Never mind. You know, because I'm busy. Okay. Oh, I can't see. I got my glasses on. Now it has to be 185 degrees. You don't want to push it all the way down. You want to hit the center because that's when you know if it's there or not. So be careful you don't push it all the way down. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's in the center. All right, it's not done yet. We got more time cooking. I'll check it in a half hour, but I'm going to have to let you go. But anyway, this is what it's looking like, and you can see how nice it is. See how nice it is? But it's not done yet. I will definitely do a short and show you that when it is done. I don't know what they're saying sometimes, but listen, I'm going to let you go. I can't see you watching television, watching your YouTube channel of me doing dishes and cleaning up, but I'll check it in a half hour. I will do a short and show the venison. I won't do a video. Polo, I agree with you on that. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. It's me, Rhonda. Thank you. But listen, I'm going to let you go because that might be cooking for another 45 minutes. And I got a sink full of dishes. I've got dirty clothes I have to take care of and everything else. So I'm not going to have you running all over the house with me. So listen, I want you to have a great day, okay? But if you want to see the end product, I will have it on a short. Just look for it, okay? So listen, have a great day, and thank you, Paulo. Okay, and thank you, Miss Rhonda. So listen, all of you, enjoy your day. Be safe, okay? Things are crazy right now in my country, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.